I met Joe 15 years ago. We've been together 15 years. And it was started about 5 years ago, thinking about marriage. And most people are saying that why not just take a holy union and forget all the other parts. It's not the same, you know. It's like, I'm going to put this towards you. The question is, why do you get married?
We decided that we wanted to make our relationship more meaningful, and we decided to apply for a marriage license with the state of Hawaii. And we were naturally denied the license, and consequently we approached Dan Foley to represent us in this civil rights suit. All we're looking for is equal rights. We're not looking for any special rights. And we're doing it because we love each other, just like any other two people that want to get married.
The state has discriminated against us on the basis of sex. The only reason that they are preventing me from marrying Janora is that I'm a woman. If I were a man, they would let me marry her. It has nothing to do with my ability to be a loving spouse or anything like that. It is only because of my body parts, really. And that doesn't fly in this state. Our Constitution prohibits this, but we had never before said in discriminating against someone on the basis of their sex, you need to show compelling state interest.
I heard of domestic partnership, and to me, domestic partnership was just like a halfway thing. And that still wasn't good enough for me personally, and that it wasn't very clear. But how could somebody just get 2 or 3 laws when the whole idea is to fight for your whole rights?
Right, but until these couples came to me, I'd never thought about same-sex marriage. Like most straight people, I always thought of marriage as something between a man and a woman. But myself being married and with children, my first sort of reaction was, who am I to tell these 3 couples they can't have what I have? So I decided to look at the case. And as Joe mentioned, one of my law students was very interested and went through the entire Hawaii Revised Statutes, which is a lot of law books, and identified every single right, benefit, entitlement that's contingent on marital status. And what we found, as Joe pointed out, were hundreds in the area of employment, health, insurance, property, taxation, public assistance, victims' rights, various immunities, probate, needless to say, to things such as assignment of a gasoline franchise, a discount on a hunting license. And all of these rights were contingent on being married. So what we discovered is really we have 2 classes of citizens. Straights that have the option to have access to these rights, and gays that do not.
The state issues licenses to opposite-sex couples or marriage licenses because it wants to protect the health and well-being of children. That does not mean that as a prerequisite to marriage that one has to have children. The fact is, however, it is only opposite-sex couples, as the rule, who are biologically capable, or is possible biologically, to have children. Same-sex couples cannot together have children.
This is my partner, Lynn Lamb. My name is Barbara Warkus. We came out today because we thought it was very, very important to let people know that gay families exist and have existed for a real long time, and that they are entitled to the rights of all families. We've been together for 8 years. We've been married for 7. We have 3 children, ages 3.5, 22 months, and 11 weeks. Our main concerns is for our children, because as it stands right now, if something happened to one of us, if one of us died, the courts could legally take away the children from the other parent. And I feel that that is both unfair and not in the best interest of the children.
This is a young generation. I'm for the children. They're all my children. I support my grandchildren, my great-grand.
We're the tip of the iceberg, basically. I mean, everybody has got a sister, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, or a grandfather, or a daughter, or a son, or their best friend who is gay or lesbian. The problem is if you have an oppressed part of society, they're hidden. And you know, we've been hidden, except from our work cohorts and so forth. We have had people who go, no way, you're lying, they're not gay, because they couldn't believe it. They were shocked by it. Now, subsequently, as we have come out to friends, workers, etc., every single person we come into contact with brings up someone they know, or else a relative or something, who's gay. I think it makes me really angry to think that there are politicians and so forth say it's not time yet, etc., etc. What do you mean it's not time? If it's crossed your mind and you think it's the moral thing to do, it's the moral thing to do.
No Jew, no Christian can believe homosexuality or lesbianism is an alternative lifestyle. Not only does this go against the law of nature, but no one who believes in the Word of God, the Bible, can say anything to homosexuals and lesbians except, frankly, repent and turn away from your sins. If you men and women legislators allow homosexuals and lesbians to legally marry, even if you call it a name other than marriage, you will be personally accountable to God for that.
I am an Episcopal priest, a husband, and a father. And while my Christian ethics and my concern for civil rights support same-sex marriages, my concern springs primarily from my personal relationship with persons who are homosexual. My wife and I are close friends with a gay couple and a lesbian couple. I think it is absurd that their relationships, which are as committed and loving as our own, cannot become marriages. Their relationships are healthier than many heterosexual couples, and I feel they would be excellent parents if they ever chose to adopt or have biological children.
Both my husband and I support both of these bills, but in particular HB 2499, because it seems to show an understanding that the family is weakened when it is reduced only to a space for affections and security, or when all forms of a family-type community are put on the same level, as if they had the same quality as that stable community of love and life, which is marriage.
The common thread is that the writers would boycott travel to Hawaii should same-sex marriages be allowed. I'm sharing these letters today in order to draw attention to the potential impact of either passing or rejecting the legislation before you. And this will definitely have an impact on our already fragile tourism-based economy. Thank you.
Was it an HVB, a Hawaii Visitor Bureau position? Because everything that was given to us in our offices came with the HVB letter on the front. Nothing was there saying this is not an official Hawaii Visitor Bureau position. And it was designed to give us the impression this was something that was going to affect HVB, Hawaii, and all of us, taken in what appeared to me to be a very official position. Now, when we tried to question today, there was a great deal of backpedaling on that. And it's either fish or fowl. I mean, you can't use a stationery and sign it as the head of Hawaii Visitors Bureau and then say, oh no, it wasn't official. So I have a real question about that. I think it was a misuse of that stationery and of his position. And I think he should have been before the committee to answer those concerns.
I think this is a blatant attempt to try to unduly influence policymakers with basic scare tactics, and I am appalled that the chairman of HVB would use these tactics. Appalled.
House Bill 2312 passed third reading.
Word we've been getting from some insiders who are legislative aides is that the phone calls have been 3-1 against House Bill 2312. Written letters to legislators have been 2-1 against House Bill 2312. I spent the greater part of Monday analyzing the two stacks of written testimony that were presented at the legislative hearings last Wednesday. We videotaped the entire proceedings, and the vast majority of people that attended the hearings and gave oral testimony were in opposition to the bill. So we feel that our legislatures are not paying attention to what the public is saying and are really voting their own moral whatever values. We feel that granting civil marriages to persons of the same gender is a natural extension of the social, cultural, spiritual, and political fabric of Hawaii.
The Hawaii Equal Rights Marriage Project is also calling upon the Hilton Corporation and the Hawaii Visitors Bureau to distance themselves from Hawaii Visitors Bureau Chair and Hilton Vice President Dieter Huckstein's recent testimony against same-gender marriage. We do not believe that it was appropriate for Mr. Huckstein to use his professional position to support his personal anti-gay prejudice.
I think the important thing here is that there is somebody that is very high in the tour industry that came out and said that this would negatively affect our main industry in the state, and that's tourism. And we're here to say that it won't negatively affect it.
Say no to bigotry, say no to hate, say no to the Hilton!
Because Huckstein is an employee with the Hilton conglomerate, we feel that the Hilton conglomerate endorses these kinds of policies. It's either that or they've got to distance themselves from Huckstein.
As a tourist, I think it shouldn't be the case at all. I think if they're trying to spread tourism and attract people, they should go after all sorts of niches of them, or bring them out front, put a sign, hey, we don't encourage gays here, but don't have it as a hidden policy, that's for sure.
Well, I don't think he was very fair when he came across representing Hawaii Visitors Bureau and also the hotel industry. I think Hawaii Visitors Bureau Board of Directors came out saying that he did not speak on behalf of them, and I think the hotel industry also came out saying that he did not represent the hotel industry. And my feeling is that Hawaii may not want the kind of people who would not come to Hawaii because we practice same-sex marriage here.
We feel as Hawaiians that we have families who are gay, and it is an equal opportunity for us to do what's right for everybody and not just for Hawaiians.
I think this is a clear demonstration of how we are all committed to fighting for equal rights for all. And I just love it. I mean, I love it. I'm really excited, and I think we shouldn't give it up. I think we should do more of this and give ourselves more voice and visibility for the world to see that we will not accept hand-me-downs. We will not, as a group of people, be classified into a separate and unequal class.
While demonstrations were held at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, religious extremists showed their concern for homosexuals by praying outside the gates of a women's festival on the north shore of Oahu. Out and About takes you to the Hawaii Women's Music Festival.
And speaking of the fundamentalists, they're driving me up the wall. They're driving me crazy. They have this videotape called The Gay Agenda, and they're selling it around the country for like $13.95 on the PTL Club, good old Pat Robertson. And this video has footage of us at our Gay Day parade in San Francisco. So here you have gays at their most flamboyant, our most wild, and our most sexual. Thank God. And don't start with me. And I'm in my prime. I'm having vaginal chaos. Don't mess with me. Anything is liable to happen. And so I'm sitting there thinking, they're watching this footage in homes all over the country, in these fundamentalist homes. And I'm sitting there, they're probably sitting around, you know, those fundamentalists, they can't have sex unless they want to have kids, right? And unlike us gay people, we're pretty busy. So they have a lot of time on their hands, and they're probably sitting around saying something like, honey, what do you want to do tonight?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Oh, I don't know. We could sit around and pray we hate some more people.
Oh, I'm kind of tired of that.
Yeah, me too. Hey, I know. Let's watch that new Gay Agenda, that videotape, and see what them homosexuals are up to now. Yeah, honey, go put the VCR. Yeah, good. Come here, honey. Oh, boy, those people make me sick. Aren't they just disgusting? Yeah, let's see what they're up to now. Oh, my God, look at that guy with his naked butt coming out of them leather chaps. Oh, my God, honey, that is just disgusting. Yeah, freeze frame right there, yeah. Oh, God, that makes me sick. Oh, okay, let's see. Look at that woman with them lesbian with those big old naked breasts hanging out like that. Oh, my God, honey, that is just disgusting. Yeah, freeze frame right there, yeah. Oh, what's she got on there? A collar attached to some other lesbian? Oh, my God, that is just disgusting. Honey, doesn't that make you sick, boy? That makes me look at him. I almost say, oh. And she's sitting there going, beep, or whatever the fuck she does. I just wish they would make love and not war. Let us pray.
Ōlelo Halea kano maui o ka mahu o ne hanau. Ina ka puana Elohia. Mahalui kanane o nā hua hili lima. Mahalui kanane o nā hua hili lima. Mahoahu Ōlelo Halea kano maui o ka mahu o ne hanau. Ina ka puana Elohia. Mahalui kanane o nā hua hili lima. Mahalui kanane o nā hua hili lima.
What I usually do is what you call music sign language, and it's musically inspired ASL storytelling. You saw some of that in the show yesterday, and this is what I share with a lot of my people, my close people that share the language with me, and I'm going to take a chance and share it with you. It's a song called Big World. It's by Lorraine Segato, Canadian woman artist. One of my favorite. Let's hear it for Lorraine Segato. She's someone who moves with the music and inspires my work, and so I share with you a piece, musically inspired ASL storytelling, and the title is Big World.
In the beat of the city, where the wheels of fortune play, where greed has value, it's just another profit-making day. To recklessly abandon the mysteries of this earth, the consequence of power is far beyond this word. In the blood of the rivers is the blood of the culture. Without the laws of nature, we would never prosper. Don't think that she won't rock you with the thunder. In an angry sea of money, she will pull us under. And it's a big, big world. How could I ever give away this prize? I don't know how when I look into your eyes. Save me from an untimely scene. Take me back to the life I dreamed of. Break me, but you won't tear me apart. Because only I control my heart. What am I gonna do? Am I so in love with you? Or is it just that I have many things to say? I wanna leave you alone, and I wanna take you home. How will I do? I really wanna get away. Save me from an untimely scene. Take me back to the life I dreamed of. Break me, but you won't tear me apart. Because only I control my heart. What am I gonna do? Am I so in love with you? Or is it just that I have many things to say? You know I love you, but I will never understand.
Walk the walk. Walk the walk. Hi, my name's Andy Bumatai. Join me and my friends for the 4th annual AIDS Walk, benefiting the Life Foundation and our local fight against AIDS. So, walk the walk! I'm walking.
We're walking too!
AIDS Walk 94, Sunday, March 20th at Kapiolani Park. Prizes, entertainment, and fun.
Walk as an individual or part of a team from your company or school. To register, call 971-7610.
When Western explorers arrived in Hawaii in 1778,
over 300,000 Hawaiians were living throughout the islands. Less than a century later, only 71,000 Hawaiians had survived exposure to Western diseases such as smallpox and measles. Hundreds of thousands of Hawaiians died because they didn't know how to protect themselves from these silent killers. Today, Hawaii's people face another deadly epidemic, the HIV virus that leads to AIDS. It is estimated that nearly 10,000 people in Hawaii are HIV positive, and unfortunately, most of these infected people do not yet know it. In 1983, the Life Foundation was started by a group of concerned citizens. Its mission is to stop the spread of HIV infection and AIDS, to maximize the quality of life for those affected by HIV infection, and to raise public awareness and understanding of HIV and AIDS-related issues.
I started with the Life Foundation in 1986 as a volunteer. I became involved with the Life Foundation because of personal reasons. I have a son who has AIDS, and when I found out that he was HIV positive, I just felt like I had to do something, and I couldn't cure him. And so I just looked in the phone book under A for AIDS, found a number, which turned out to be the Life Foundation, which I had never heard of at that point. I came down and asked if they needed help, and of course, always, still yet, we need volunteers.
I started with Life Foundation in '89, it's September '89, so that's over 3 years. And somewhere along the line, the first year I was here, the first few months, they started calling me the Condom Queen. And when I told her, you know, that we have people who go to the schools, you know, and to different business places, and she said, well, I just wish they'd teach the children they shouldn't have sex until they get married. I said, Mary Jo, you're very old-fashioned. You can't teach them that when they're already active.
What I'm here to tell you is that you guys all have a responsibility first. You also have a choice, okay? You folks can make that choice. With the education, you should be able to make a good choice. AIDS is an acquired disease. You get it from somebody, okay? You're not, well, for some infants, they're born with it. But for this group, it's acquired. So you're going to get it from somebody else. You can't get it from a mosquito.
I think we're usually afraid of things that we don't know about. And the more you find out about this disease and find out how you can take precautions, how you can protect yourself, and share that information with people that you care about, I think that the fear will subside. And that's why our education department is out there doing their best to teach people about HIV and also about safe sex. We have a buddy program, and that's a program for the clients of the Life Foundation to have someone who's a volunteer to help them out with things like running errands, just being a support for them, going out to the movie with them, or helping them do some of the domestic chores that they may not have the energy to do.
I had to wait a little bit before I got the assignment. I had asked probably in April for a buddy, and then they said, well, we don't have anybody right now, but in June we'll have another training. And that's when I wound up in the hospital, and I was there for 3 months, and they kept postponing giving me a buddy because nobody knew if I was going to make it. And so it worked out really well that Jerry met me in the hospital before I went home.
And then I got there and I met Jim, and he was asking all the questions like, you know, was he going to let me in? You know, aren't you afraid of AIDS? And how did you get involved with this and why? And throughout the whole time we were talking, that first hour, I kept thinking, what if he doesn't want me? You know, and at the very end, I got ready to leave, and he said, and do you have any more questions? And I said, yeah, can I come back and visit again? And he smiled and he said yes, and that's, from then on, it's been easy. I don't have any regrets. I get a lot more than I ever give. I probably feel better about myself than I have. Jim helps me stay focused on what's important in life.
We use our case manager a lot. She's been there to take care of making sure that we get everything that's available to us and to make sure that we're aware of everything that's available to us, because there's so much out there and yet there's so little out there. And it's real important to know how to go about the process and to get it as quickly as possible, because things always take time when you're dealing with social agencies.
Sometimes you get so low and so frustrated with what's happening, you know, with your body, with just your psyche, you know, just how you're feeling, and depressed and kind of overwhelmed sometimes by it all. And, you know, you get a call or a visit, you know, it's really, it's just really boosts your spirits so much.
I found him in his apartment, and he'd collapsed.
She thought I was dead.
Yeah, his eyes were open, but he wasn't moving, and he couldn't seem to see or to hear. And I'd had to get the manager of the building to let me in. So we called the ambulance, and had the ambulance come and get him and bring him to the
I
hospital.
didn't respond.
Yeah.
I don't even know what was going on.
It was pretty scary. And it was like the next morning before he sort of came to and, you know, kind of came back to himself, I guess. But it was still a couple days before he could really talk.
I didn't know what was going on.
And then, of course, he went and apologized for being so much trouble, and he really wasn't in trouble. You know? He did scare me, but it wasn't his fault. You know? So we're going to move him in somewhere to Gregory House. We'll have a roommate. There'll be people around, and we've got people lined up to come in every day and check on him and, you know, help him with things like cooking and cleaning and taking care of himself. And just, plus they have group get-togethers, support groups, so he won't be alone, and he'll have some, you know, constant emotional and moral support. And he's got a good buddy now who checks on him a lot and is willing to learn how to cook Thai food, so, because that's what he likes. Yeah, well, I think that's the biggest thing of his mom being here. She brought him Thai food all the time.
Every day.
And when you compared that with the hospital food, you know, there was no contact.
Most of the folks that come in here have the disease, HIV, but a lot of times this disease is difficult for people who love and care for those who have HIV, and sometimes they're the forgotten ones, and they can be really difficult for them as well. So our services are available to them. The counseling services are. And between the two, case management and counseling, I think that that can make them feel like they're not alone with all of this, and that there are people that care, and we do care.
I was in the hospital with my son because he had been diagnosed with a B-cell lymphoma, which later on gave him an AIDS diagnosis. And during that time when I found out that he was HIV, that he had AIDS, and my daughter and I were HIV positive, I called the Life Foundation. We went through, I guess, 8 months of chemotherapy, and he lost all his hair, and he lost his eyebrows and his eyelashes, and I mean really all his hair. He had no hair on his body, and he was very, very skinny, and he had a central line, and we spent probably 2 weeks out of every month in the hospital. And now he's been in remission since his first chemotherapy in November of 1990, and we're at December of 92 here. So he's been in remission over 2 years, and he's got lots of hair, and he's very bright, very active, and, you know, it's really hard to believe he has AIDS because he's so atypical. He's just full of energy. I can't get him to go to sleep until like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then he's up at 6, 7 in the morning to go to school, and he loves school. He loves interacting with other kids. And the Life Foundation helped me make out my will, put me in touch with a buddy who helped me clean out my kid's room. They send me gift certificates once a month. They put me in touch with a rental assistance, O'Mana Olana. They have
continuously invited me, sent me their newsletter and invited me to their various functions. Even though I very rarely respond, they continue to do so. They also put me in touch with Pacificare, who also checks up on me. It's kind of like a joint venture. They're always seem to be interested in my well-being, and my case manager checks up on me occasionally, and they put me in touch with another mother. They're always there for any questions that I might have.
It's just that the Life Foundation is a large part of our lives, and had anybody told me that an organization would play such an important role in my life, I would have probably laughed at them 5 years ago. But to know that I rely on them daily is sort of a scary experience, but it's a comforting experience to know that it's them and they're taking care of me.
She's like a mother, sister. She really cares. I mean, I'm very happy. Without her, I think I would be totally lost.
Well, I hope this video has explained a bit about what the Life Foundation does and has helped you understand a bit more about what it's like to live with AIDS. The Life Foundation is a nonprofit organization, has about 27 people working for it, and has a budget of about $1.5 million this year. It costs a lot of money to provide the kinds of services and education we try to provide. About 2/3 of that money comes from the State Department of Health. We get generous donations from Aloha United Way, and the rest comes from fundraising events, generous donors, $5, $5,000, all kinds of donations, as well as in-kind donations of materials and goods and volunteers. We have about 200 volunteers at any one time, and if you'd like to be one of them, we'd certainly welcome you. If you want to learn more about the Life Foundation, if you have any questions about what you just saw, or want to know how to help us or how to get involved, give us a call. Our number is 971-AIDS. That's 971-2437. Thank you.
David and I moved to Honolulu about 2 years ago, and we had been frontrunners in San Francisco, where most of our friends, were part of the group. So when we came over here, we needed to get to know people and to make new friends because we didn't know anybody. So we decided, well, the running club would be a good way to start. So with the help of Cheryl Embry and Tanya Ingram from Island Lifestyles, we got a group. We got a date and a time and a place going, and we started actually on June 4th, which was a Thursday at 5:30 p.m. right here in this by the bandstand, and there were 6 of us the very first day, and from then on, the numbers keep growing, and now there is 30 members of the running club at the moment.
We don't have any real membership at this time. That's where you pay dues. Basically, it's just open to anybody. It's open to men and women. It's open to gays, lesbians, bisexuals, or anybody who cares about gays, lesbians, or bisexuals. Like I said, there is no membership dues. You just simply show up. And if you feel comfortable, what we can do is we can take your name and address, and we'll put you on the mailing list. And then each month, Peter puts out a real fine newsletter that we send out to the group. We meet on Thursday evenings here in Kapiolani Park, right here at the concession stand. And also Saturday mornings here at 8:30 we meet. That's twice a week, Thursdays and Saturdays.
I started running when I was in Chicago, when I was living in Chicago about 8 years ago. I was never a sports inclined either, but a friend of mine brought me to the front runner group over there, and I got hooked up on it because there is a wonderful group of people. I made some very good friends out of them. So I enjoy running. It's a good exercise, and also the company is wonderful.
I actually started running about 20 years ago. I was looking for some kind of physical activity. I really wasn't very sports inclined with like baseball or football, but running was just something I could do. It didn't take a lot of money. All I needed was a pair of shoes and a pair of shorts. And also I was really busy, so it just gave me an opportunity to have some kind of physical activity that didn't lock me into a certain time frame. I could run whenever I wanted to run, morning, afternoon, or evening. And it didn't depend on someone else having to be there either. I could just do it when I wanted to do it. I could go at the pace I wanted to go. And like say some 20 years later, I'm still running. And I run primarily just for the fun of it. It's a good cardiovascular workout, and I just enjoy being able to run just for the fun of it. And we're not just a running group, too. I like people to know that they're also welcome to come if they just want to walk. Many times we have people who come who aren't into running for whatever reason. Maybe their bodies can't handle it, but you're welcome to just come and walk with us. We also have people who like to race walk. That's something a little bit different. We also encourage people who want to race walk to come. So you're not limited to just running. Again, you're welcome here whether you run or not. So, yeah, it's just an open invitation for anyone who wants to join us.
He's been called the granddaddy of the gay community here in Hawaii. At 85 years of age, he's certainly old enough to be a grandfather. And in fact, he is. Married the past 46 years, with 3 children and numerous grandchildren, Fred Methred appears as ordinary as a figure in a Norman Rockwell painting. The only son of John and Mary Methred, John was an engineer for the Pennsylvania Railroad. He died when Fred was 13.
I grew up in a very Calvinist home, and some of my Calvinism still blots out regardless of how I got away from it. So I suppose I have always been a church person. I went to USC, got my ABD reader. I continued in the graduate school working for a PhD and did graduate work also at Stanford University. That had to do with counseling, particularly in the student field. And I became involved then from teaching as a student fellow at the university, moved to doing counseling work in the city system. And I continued at that until the Army got me, which took me to the Philippines and the Pacific.
His life followed the usual course for the all-American boy. But then something happened. At the age of 60, Fred Methred was coming out of the closet. He writes, "After years of inner turmoil, the Creator brought me to accept my sexuality and recognize an unchangeable homosexual orientation that existed from before birth."
I think Fred is a unique person because, to my knowledge, he wasn't politically active until he was about 60 years old. He's a loyal husband and a really good father to his children, grandchildren, I think great-grandchildren now. And he has been a counselor. He has counseled young gay men who were really having trouble coming out of the closet or suicidal, even. He has opened up his home and his little office to many groups. The ACLU Gay Rights Committee in 1977, 78, 79. I think his best quality is probably his loyalty to all of us. You can count on Fred.
1979, Fred helps found PFLAG, Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays.
I think that this group is more effective in promoting the welfare of the gay community than any other person could be. And that in lobbying, when we meet in a place where there is a government office, our group always lobbies the officials who are there. And parents can be effective in a way that the individual gay person cannot be under any circumstance at all, because they are pleading not for themselves, but for someone they love, and it's effective.
Fred at 78, marching in the San Francisco Gay Pride Parade, in 1986.
Fred said he was 50 years old before he knew that there were such a thing as a homosexual, which is in the context of, we were talking yesterday about a new book called The Trouble with Harry, recent book, biography of Harry Hay, who was the founder of the Mattachine Society, and which was the original gay organization. And Fred knew Harry, and Fred had met Christopher Isherwood, one of our great writers. The people that Fred has known and has talked to and exchanged ideas philosophically, it's awesome. And that's why I always enjoyed being around Fred. And of course, going up to that fabulous library of his. He has the most incredible library of gay and lesbian resource and human sexuality materials of anyone I've ever seen. It's a virtual treasure trove of information.
You name a cause promoting civil rights, and Fred Metheret has been there. From the birth of what is now the Gay and Lesbian Community Center to his recent testifying on behalf of same-sex marriage, Fred has quietly but consistently been involved.
Fred has been really instrumental in helping our dignity get established here in Honolulu. Because he's traveled so much to the mainland, he's given information to us considering the other Dignity chapters that he's come in contact with. He's been a Dignity member of the Los Angeles chapter, and he has worked extensively with in San Francisco with their Dignity, and also with some of the Oriental organizations there too, to help civil rights for Orientals in San Francisco. He was very much instrumental in helping us, making sure that we knew what the direction was that we were going with Dignity Honolulu back in 1976 when we started it, and also in 77 and 78. So because he had so much knowledge and everything concerning what gays and lesbians were like on the mainland, and here we were stuck on an island and we couldn't get all the information because there wasn't that much information available back in the 70s. He really was instrumental in helping us, making sure that we had God as the head of our organization and to help us get our feet going.
I was fighting with myself. I think God wanted me to become honest, and I was fighting that within myself, not really openly with words, acknowledging even what I was thinking. It was going through my head all the time. You should be honest. I tell you, the Stonewall riots really had a great influence on me. Here were young people, men, boys, and girls, whose lives were threatened there. They were willing to fight for such as I, who was protected.
Basically, he's a man who reads his gospel, lives it, and isn't afraid to lose any stature by following the gospel that he reads. For the gay community, it's been important, I think, that he has been articulate to God's love of humanity. And if humanity comes in various sizes and shapes, various colors and forms, and also various sexual orientations, he will not allow that division that society makes and sometimes the church supports to be divisive. And because it has happened within his own life and within his own faith commitment, he really talks out of an authentic space. And I just love that in him, and we just need more people like him. So if there was a possibility to clone Fred Metheret, a possibility to clone Fred Metheret, it would be a wonderful gift to humanity.
In 72, I guess, I retired in 72, so it must have been in 73, I met and got acquainted with Bill Woods. It was a little group that met once a week, I guess, called Love and Peace Together. I was in that, and we worked about for a long time the idea of getting a place which could be our office and home and everything. discovered a place. I was on the mainland when they finally found one, and I know Bill met me at the airport, said he found a place. And when I found what we were paying for it, I nearly had a conniption fit about it.
Fred, in my opinion, the Gay Community Center, now the Gay and Lesbian Community Center, would not have happened without Fred. Fred was there to philosophically support it. Fred was there financially to support it. And Fred has always been there to see that the center operated above board and with great ethical integrity.
You've done so much, and you've helped so many people. You've lived a really full life. How would you like to be remembered?
Well, I think only that anyone that they know that here was a loving man who not only loved his God, but loved his fellow human beings, and wants the best for all of them. And of course, specifically, I want the recognition of the equality of the homosexual with the heterosexual. Definitely. I'd like to see that. And I want to see it particularly in the religious community. I think that's what we have to get first before the whole community comes in. If we can convert people who claim to be religious people, then it'll be easy to commit the rest of the community. I think that comes first. I want to see that.
I had a twin sister who was an artist, and she was very successful. Well, she was very successful in that she won many awards, but because she had painted during the time she was raising her two boys, and it was hard for her to become a commercial success, although she sold most of her work. She was a pastel artist primarily, but she worked in all mediums. She was a national award winner twice for the Pastel Society of America, but she died in '87. And I always collected her work, but I think, looking back now, I can see it's the twin thing. You know, I never thought about being an artist. In fact, I never considered myself an artist, and I never thought about painting that I could do it until about a year after she died. And then I was very tired of what I was doing, and I decided to take a class over at the Academy of Arts, and I found out I liked it. I see now where I can do more donating artwork, my work, to organizations and getting involved as a volunteer, because they can really raise a lot of money. Selling the work and much more, earning much more money for their organizations than just the time I would donate. So it's really a nice feeling to be able to donate work. I've become sort of known as a bathroom artist because I have done a lot of them, and people like to hang my art in their bathroom. So I've heard many times that they've seen me in so-and-so's bathroom, and it's kind of a compliment, Bathroom is a good place to hang art. I mean, everyone, you have a captive audience. So.
Well, I grew up in Nebraska, and the wide open spaces, as you call them, influenced me by making me want to get away. I grew up in a place where there's really very few trees. It's very dry. It's almost like a desert. And, I just wanted to get someplace as wet and tropical as I could. And that's why I came to Hawaii. I knew I was going to come to Hawaii when I was 8 years old. I knew that's where I was going to live. When I was a kid, I started drawing on the walls, As soon as I could hold something that would make a mark, I would draw on the walls. And so I always knew I was an artist. My mother's she's a painter too. She paints mostly landscapes, much more conservative than my work. But I show her all my work. My mother says of my work, I like it, but I like the ones that leave a little to the imagination the best. So that's her approach. But she can appreciate it in another way too, because she's an artist. So if a work is well done, she'll like it even if there's a big dick in it, for example. Influences in my work, there's a lot. There's a lot of realistic artists I like Andrew Wyeth and John Singer Sargent and Joaquin Sorolla. The Spanish painter is really great. But also, I love Picasso's work and get a lot of inspiration from it, and Matisse. Those are some major influences.
You want to talk about any of these pieces?
Well, the reason I put this behind me is because I want people to know that I do landscapes too. I don't do a lot of them, but you know, I do have a pretty broad range of work. I even paint women sometimes. And this is kind of interesting because it's not the realistic style that a lot of people associate me with, and I do a lot of things like this. And the same for this. You know, when I started doing this, I thought it might get boring after a while to just be doing the male body, the male face and figure over and over and over again, but it's, you know, it's infinite. It's great because I'm known for my subject matter. I can vary my style as much as I want and still, you know, have a market niche, because you got to think about things like that. So because I always specialize in the male image, I can do very realistic to almost abstract and get away with it. People will still know it's a Simonson. You know, the interesting thing for me about doing male nudes is that when I first started out doing it, I had a lot of questions because, you know, I didn't want to be categorized as a quote-unquote gay artist, and, you know, there's a lot of stigma attached in the art world, I think, to doing quote-unquote homoerotic art. But the interesting thing is that as the years go by, it just seems more and more right to me to be doing what I'm doing. And it's that feeling of rightness, you know, in here that is why I keep doing it. I mean, aside from the fact that I love it. It seems like there's always somebody somewhere who says, oh, he's a racist because he only paints Asian men, for instance. You know, but I have found that for every one of those, there's at least 10 people who are willing to come to me and tell me, you know, I'm Asian and I like your work because it makes me feel better about myself. So, you know, I know that my heart's in the right place. That's all I can concern myself with. My routine, I usually paint in the mornings because that's when I have the most positive energy. I'm the most together. And as the day goes by and I slow down, you know, then I do the business stuff. I spend a lot more time running my business than I do creating my art, which is not necessarily a bad thing, you know, it's just the way it is. And most of my business is mail order. I have collectors all over the world and a lot of people who keep collecting my work over several years. So that's something that took a long time to build, you know, and it makes me really happy that I have that, and it's growing. I have a couple of guys in Germany and a couple in France at this point, and quite a few in Japan and Australia, and of course all over Canada and the U.S. I mean, you know, you start a business and you think, 5 years, you know, maybe I'll get this going. It's been 12, you know, and it's just starting to be self-supporting. I mean, I've been able to support myself for a couple or 3 years just from this, but it's finally getting to the point where I can pay my rent without having to worry about it, and that's nice, especially when you're doing exactly what you want to be doing, in the way you want to be doing it, which is what I'm doing.
Douglas Simonson and Peggy Chun are just two of the many artists who have donated work to this year's Gay and Lesbian Community Center art auction, which will be held Saturday, April 9th at the Ala Moana Hotel. For further information, call the GLCC at 951-7000. The UH Task Force on Sexual Orientation is sponsoring a monthly queer film and video series. On March 4th, Sex Is by Mark Eustace will play. The April 8th program will feature Framing Lesbian Fashion, a look at the evolution of lesbian attire and identity. Iffy, a day in the life of a black French lesbian in San Francisco. And Just a Love Thang, a funny, sexy, erotic video that explores desire and cultural identity of an Asian Pacific American lesbian couple. Come see the latest in queer cinema. Friday, March 4th and Friday, April 8th at Kuykendall Auditorium, UH Manoa at 7 p.m.
Out and About has been brought to you by Diamond Head Video, providing you with a wide selection of video rentals in Honolulu and Kailua. Hula's Bar and Lay Stand, Cafe Sistina, and other business sponsors, and individuals like you.
I need your love so badly. I love you oh so madly. But I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. I need your love so badly. I love you oh so madly, but I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. I thought at last I'd found you, but other loves surround you, and I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. If you surrender just for a tender kiss or two, you might discover I am the lover meant for you, and I'll be true. But what's the good of scheming? I know I must be dreaming, 'cause I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. But oh, honey child, woman, sweet thing, honey, baby, I need your love so badly. I love you oh so madly, but I don't stand a ghost of a chance